Hello, my name is Martyr, and this is Let's Play the Charnel House Trilogy, and thank you for watching. The Charnel House Trilogy, guys, is a point-and-click horror-style game, guys. And to be brutally honest with you guys, it's very difficult for me to come up with a comparison for this style of game. It's a little eerie, it's short, it's not too long. You can beat it in about, for me it took me about 2 hours and a half, and yes, I have actually beaten this. I know the entire story of this. It almost feels kind of like an art piece or a short story in a way, but it's all really done it's all done very well, I will say that much. These are the graphics, the pixel graphics, the music, the voice work is done very well, guys. It's a very unique game. We'll talk more about how I feel about it as we get deeper into the video, guys. It released April 2015. It was developed by Alcave and published by Mastertronic. You can go ahead and get the Charnel House Trilogy on Steam for the first week sale price of $4.79 or $5.99 normally. Now there's a reason that it's $5.99, guys. Like I mentioned, it's a bit of a short game. Each book, which is basically the chapters of the game, is about maybe, the first book is very short. It's about maybe 15 to 30 minutes at the most, and it kind of gets, longer as you get deeper and deeper into the game, as it were, guys. But for the most part, if you listen to all the voice work and you don't click through certain conversations, it's all about, I'm a faster reader than I'm a listener. That's why I kind of click through some of the conversations. It takes me about 2 hours to 3 hours to play. And this, to be honest, this game is very trippy. It honestly reminds me of an episode of the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits. It's all about the mind and kind of screwing around with your senses, guys. Is the best way to describe it. We're gonna start off with the options, of course. Now, this isn't a really heavily laden style game. There's not a lot of options to speak of here. You have a volume slider. There's like a help button here. I'm not really sure what this does. Basically, it just tells you how to play the game, basically. There's no graphics manipulation. Matter of fact, this is the resolution that you're seeing right here is 1280 by 800. It's not the greatest thing in the world. It's just going to stretch itself out across your screen. Some people will kind of be upset about that kind of thing. I'm going to be like, okay, the game's only $5.99. I can see what they were going for with this game. It's not a big deal, but it's just something to keep in mind. The game does feature Steam achievements, though. So if you like achievement hunting, you like that kind of thing, it does have that. It does not have Steam cards, and I don't expect it to, because it's just not that style of game. It's like murder, death, and here's some Steam cards. It's just not that style of game, guys. So we're going to play the first chapter, which I do believe is the demo chapter. Well, you know what? We'll go actually with the second chapter, because you can play the chapters kind of disconnected from each other. And it's still somewhat, in a way, it tells its own micro story. Obviously, you want to play it from inhale all the way to exhale, but I mean, at the same time, it does a pretty good job of playing it from chapter, independently, as it were. Now, this character is Lang, Dr. Lang.
They stir.
He's a bit of a weird guy.
Beneath this silent world of saints and
now, I don't want to forget to mention that this game was written by Ashton Reyes, guys. And if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, that's the writer of Richard and Alice, another awesome RPG game. So that kind of gives you the idea of where this game is heading as far as its theme and feels.
When did we leave? Where did we leave?
And basically, the gist of the story, by the way, guys, is that you're on this train, and just to be honest with you, the train, there's something strange about the train.
Maybe I should fetch some water. The restaurant should be open now.
And you're kind of trying to figure out what it is strange about this train and what's going on with these characters. Two main characters, there's Dr. Lang and then there's Alex, who you play in the other two chapters, and how their story kind of intertwines. And to be honest with you, the joy of this game is definitely the story, is definitely the dialogue, is definitely the voice acting in this game. It's all very well done, but at the same time, you need to be open to the idea that the story is
what do we have
going to
here,
be kind of vague.
Wallet. Yes. Dr. Lang, curator of the Krennic-on-Thames Museum. That's me, all right.
Alright, so we got his wallet. And yes, I mean, it does have, stereotypical, point-and-click style themes in it. You have an inventory. You can kind of grab items and mix and match them. You can right-click to look at items. You can click on items around the environment. It all has those those elements that you would expect in that style game. But to be honest with you, this isn't really I'm not going to tell you this is
Think I don't get
open
enough of the
world.
dead
This isn't,
without pulp
it's a very
horror
linear
novels.
story. There's always visual clues.
Just
There's always
one
something kind of
vice.
pushing you in a direction to figure out where you need to go or what you need to do. So in that regard, the story is very linear. So let's go ahead and let's exit the room here. I'll meet some more interesting characters aboard
Let's go stir up
the
a
old
drink or
Gloria,
two.
as it were.
Maybe something strong is in order. Clear the head. Okay, I'm Dr. Harold Lang. My destination is Auger Peak Island. I'm on this train to... I'm going to evaluate some finds. They called me to...
Whoa, okay, what was that? So click around the environment. Of course, you can interact with objects. A lot of the objects you can kind of hover over, look at them, get a description of them.
A painting of a train. Is it this one? No, looks too old. Maybe an ancestor.
The game features it's all played with your keyboard, or well, I should say your mouse. There's no controller support or anything of the sorts, so, but it doesn't lend itself to that kind of game.
Good
Anyways,
evening, my friend. I was wondering if you could...
Ah, yes. I've seen you poking around. Having trouble settling down, are we?
Something like that. Could do with a stiff drink about now?
Right you are, then.
That painting on the wall.
Isn't she a beaut?
sometimes a little dialogue
Sounds like
box will
clockwork,
open
so
up
she
that you
does.
can get to ask questions.
It's... this train. Isn't it a little old?
You kids today have got no appreciation of machinery.
We've got to be the same age at best.
Well, practically grew up in her, so I did. There's nothing about old Gloria that I don't know.
Alright, so basically we're going to try to move around. The kind of the theme of the overall game is that it has kind of like a flow to it. When you start a new chapter, it's like everything's all right, and then you're like, wait, something's wrong, and then by the end of it, you're
Isn't
like,
this the
holy
way
shit,
out?
what the hell's going on? That's kind of the ebb and flow of the game. It just kind of goes from that. It starts off normal, things get a little weird, and then things get really f***ed up by the end of it all, and you're wondering, you're like, what's going on? And then usually the chapter ends, and then you're left with your head scratching. You're trying to figure out what the hell goes on. At least up till about the last chapter does a pretty good job, I will say, of wrapping everything up. And the ending is as trippy as the game is in itself. The ending is as trippy. It gives you answers, but it leaves a lot of questions unanswered. Like I said, it has a lot of elements, I feel, of a short story. It reminds me of Twilight Zone. They don't answer all the questions, that they do answer the most important questions in a weird way. It's a strange game, to say the least, guys.
Locked. Is that normal? Nothing's wrong, is it?
You city folks always jump to conclusions. There's nothing wrong. It's just how we do things when our guests are asleep. It prevents prying eyes and swift fingers.
Isn't that a bit of a fire hazard?
Pal, let me tell you, if a fire breaks out on this train, then no amount of carriage doors are going to save you from roasting. If you catch my drift. Be a steel coffin if the unthinkable happened.
Sheesh. Could you possibly unlock the door? I could really use a drink.
The voice acting, for the most part,
reckon
is
I
pretty
can,
well done, I
no.
will say that much.
Can give you the key though. On one condition.
Oh, please don't tell me he's going to ask me to solve some ridiculous
There's a lot of times that the
conundrum
characters
of
do a
his.
lot of talking
Bring me
to
back
themselves,
a
though, that I
shot
kind of
of
was like,
whiskey
man, these
when you
characters
get
are
back.
a little bit
Old Floyd will pick you
bonkers.
up. Just tell him it's for done.
Phew. No problem, my friend. Thank you.
Alright, so we got a key now. It's in our inventory. So let's go get drunk. Hopefully. If we can. Now, of course, all we have to do is just grab the item from our inventory and click on the door, and it should open the door.
Aha!
Alright, well, we got some strange things going on here.
A solemn-looking young woman. She's seated on a chair. Her eyes are...
You can, of
staring
course,
off at
click through the
something just
dialogue if you
outside the
wanted, but
picture's edge.
I don't... It's not necessarily something you want to do.
I feel...
I find myself to be a little bit more of a faster
I feel
reader
like I've
than I
seen a
can
photograph
listen.
like this before.
But it's up
This
to you,
wasn't up in
basically,
a
how you kind of
train
want to play the
carriage.
game. Definitely listening to the dialogue is definitely going to give you the length that you want from this game. Clicking through it's gonna shorten the game. But again, I find myself kind of listening to them can be a little bit. You just you get the idea. You're like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next sentence. Sometimes I find myself to be a little bit impatient at times, I guess.
Locked. Damn.
All right. You can also double click on doors and it'll instantly teleport you to areas, so that way you don't have to necessarily slowly watch him walk across the plane. I mean, I do enjoy pixel graphics, but sometimes you want people to pick up the pace here.
The restaurant is locked. This key's no good.
Ah, Floyd must be getting things ready. Just take your time, boy. Let him do his thing. He'll unlock it when he's good and ready. There's no rush, is there?
All right. I do enjoy the portraits, by the way. I think the portraits were very well painted. I think they're really cool looking. The way the characters kind of look in their little
Shut us
portraits right
down.
there on the left there. It looks really cool.
No use. Stuck.
Yeah, now that's kind of a big deal. If you'll have noticed that there's no windows on this train. Every window on the train is kind of closed. It doesn't really show you why. And this is where things start getting just a little bit more creepier and creepier and creepier as you move through the game. Like, for instance, meet Grub. I don't know exactly what Grub is, but
Shuttered and sealed.
Grub's window's closed too.
Just like in my room.
Let's go talk to Grub.
Hello there. I'm sorry for the intrusion. I was just what? He's muttering something. I can't make it out. I'm sorry? What was that? Maybe I should be going. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Alright.
He doesn't seem to be able to open his mouth properly. I think I'd better leave. Maybe I should mention this to that
You can
ticket
see how they
inspector.
kind of lead you from place to place, kind of with their dialogue. They kind of like, oh, well, maybe I should go talk to the bartender now. Or, man, I'm awfully hungry. If you want to go get some
This
food. You get the
isn't
idea. They kind of always lead
I
you.
probably
Always kind of
shouldn't
pushing
even
you in the
touch
direction
it.
of where to go.
Grabbing other people's luggage is a bit of a faux pas.
There's very little times I found myself in the game actually kind of lost and didn't know what to do. Most of the time, there's always some sort of little hint or description. And if you've played point and click games, you're gonna easily know what to do. It's not the world's most difficult game. It's definitely a game that's all about the dialogue, the story, it's figuring out what the hell's going on. It's not meant necessarily. There's not puzzles or anything like that. It's really simplistic as far as the game goes, but it's all very well done. I will say that much. I enjoyed the game. It's just strange. It's just a strange game. If you're not somebody who can appreciate perhaps abstract thinking, a little bit of can appreciate weirdness is the best way I can say it, I guess. It's a little bit abstract is the best way. Everything's abstract in this entire game. The entire game is abstract
Carriage.
and full of little
I
hints
don't
and nudges
think
and
he's
clues
at
to everything
all
that's going
well.
on.
We get some right crazies on the train sometimes, I'm telling you. You learn to leave them be after a while.
The wretched man can barely speak.
Aye. And I'd be the same way after the amount of booze most of these boys have had. Is Floyd still not operating then?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Ah, well, give the boy time. Hey, I saw one of your fellow passengers pop their head out the room at the end of the corridor. Maybe you'd get a better conversation out of her. Pretty little thing, so she was.
Thanks. Are you sure that she was...
Yeah. This is a weird game. He's snoring. What the hell's wrong with that guy?
Well, this was the right room. Hello?
She's not here, buddy.
I can't just cart around. It's nothing in... More large bags. More large bags.
If you haven't caught the hint, the bags kind of represent something is the best way to
Pile of
describe
paper
it.
dogs. They're not very well made.
I don't want to blow it for you, but everything in this game has a lot of symbolism to
As
it.
a child, I used to make origami like this. Where's the girl that ticket collector claims to have seen? I'm sure she won't miss just one.
Alright, so we'll take a little paper dog there. That'll become
Could
useful.
she be... Nothing. but that sounded awfully like a door unlocking in the next carriage. Is Floyd ready for business?
I don't know. Let's go find out, Dr. Lang. Nice little jaunty music starts. Like I said, it's a haunting experience. There's never really a point where I was like scared. There's a couple of moments that really kind of are strange, but the game never really like is horrifying. It doesn't throw jump scares at you. It more is horrifying in the overall story and everything that's going on, the strange
Shuttered and
world
sealed,
that they've created here for
just
you.
like in my room.
Again, windows are closed. That's a little strange. Let's talk to Floyd, shall we?
Good evening. Floyd, is it?
Ah, Mr. Lang, how nice of you to join us.
It's Dr. Lang.
He never answered his name.
But who needs formalities in a place like this?
Quite. I suppose you're here on business?
Business?
A drink, Mr. Lang. That is what you're after, is it not?
Perhaps a bite to eat.
I love his
first?
mutton chops, by the way.
Unfortunately,
Some
all
fantastic
our meals are
mutton
reserved.
chops.
By all means, have a drink, though. Pull up a stool.
I'd better not stay. Your ticket collector, Don, I think it was, has tasked me with procuring him a glass of whiskey.
Ah, yes, he did leave his hip flask here, thinking about it. It's right there on the bar. This one's on the house, Mr. Lang.
Nicely stocked. Flask's empty, Floyd. Better give me a shot of whiskey.
No more freebies, I'm afraid, Mr. Lang. That'll be £5.
£5? You're burying me alive here.
This is one of those moments that I actually kind of a little bit stuck on because it doesn't really explain it to you. But what all you have to do is basically right-click on your wallet and it
a bit of
unveils
money.
the contents
Just
of your
what
wallet.
the doctor ordered.
So I'll grab the £5 here. Whoops, clickety. And click on Floyd.
Here you go, my good man.
Things are going to get messed up
Better hit me with
slowly bit
another.
more.
Excess is the path to ruin, Mr. Lang. We wouldn't want you to go before your time, would we?
I think I can manage just one more drink.
That's what they all say, isn't it, Mr. Lang? Just one more for the
Oh,
road?
boy.
I can handle it. Never had difficulty driving before. And what about your liver, Mr. Lang? Can that handle just one more drink?
God damn, Floyd, you always were a preachy son of a bitch, weren't you?
I think you're quite mistaken, Mr. Lang. We've never met, you and I. I just don't want you to do yourself an injury.
I can handle one more goddamn drink, you stupid bitch. Just stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours.
That's right, Mr. Lang. Let it all out. There's a good little puppy.
What the hell?
What the hell? What did...
Oh, man.
Shit.
So yeah, obviously there's a little bit of adult content to this. I mean, this is definitely not
I
a
need to go,
child-friendly game.
It's
Even
been a
if the
pleasure,
pixel
as
graphics are
always.
adorable and
Aren't you
very well
forgetting your
done,
promise,
it's definitely
Mr.
not a
Lang?
child-friendly
Whiskey.
game.
For Dawn.
Once more unto the...
I'm afraid you can't just take it, Mr. Lang, no matter how much you wish to.
How much?
It's not cheap, I'm afraid. £40 should do it.
I don't have that much money on me.
I'm sure you'll find a way, Mr. Lang. You always do.
Alright, so we'll give him a credit card.
Okay, here goes. Goodbye, bank balance.
If you just enter your PIN.
Now, what was my pin? I remember setting a number I can identify easily. No good with memorizing numbers.
Now, if you remember correctly, we had a little museum ID card on it. If you just examine it really
Dr.
quickly, you
Harold
can see
Lang,
that one of the numbers
Clinic on
is
Thames
1318. It's all about just
Badge
paying
ID,
attention.
CCPN
It's not that difficult. Like I said,
1318.
there's puzzle elements there, but they're not really that difficult to solve here, guys. It's more about just the story and the overall, the way the game makes you feel, what the game makes you think about,
done.
and how
Thank
you
you.
relate to these characters
No,
and
thank
what they're
you, Mr.
going
Lang.
through and what everything symbolizes is kind of what's important about this game. So we're just going to continue moving forward here. Things are already starting to get a little trippy.
What the hell is happening to me? Oh, my head. I can't think.
Oh, Mr.
boy.
Lang, that pale man you met. I think he just wants a best friend. Perhaps you're not quite what he's looking for? You are, after all, blind drunk.
After one shot, he's blind drunk. Oh, who knew? Who knew? Alrighty then. Well, he's looking for a best friend. Maybe he's looking for man's best friend, a paper dog, after all. And again, I know this is all kind of
Worth a try, I suppose.
spoilerific.
Hey,
But again, it's
sir,
not that big of a deal because the
this
game is
isn't
very
quite
somewhat
man's best
linear,
friend, but-
guys. It's linear, but done in a very good way. I will say that much.
That seems to have done the trick.
All right.
I think he wants me to open it.
Well, then let's open it.
There's an engraving here. He whose blood the earth's dark thirst doth quench ascends unto the heavens from her womb. Interesting.
It is very well written. There's a lot of strange quotations.
It's firmly
And
attached.
I'm not sure if this was based
Hey,
off of something, but it is very
think I
well
can move
done.
it.
It's very well written, I will say that much. It's a freaky
Locked.
game.
It's open. Oh! The box is filled with earth and worms. They're everywhere. Why would he lock something like this away?
Because he's psychotic? Didn't mean to do that right now, but that works. Okay. You're a sick man,
He's playing
Grub.
with the dog.
You're a sick, sick man, Grub. You need mental help, Grub. Well, guys, like I said, the journey of this game is definitely the joy of it. It's a very well done story. It's a trippy story. If you're looking for a conclusive ending, you're kind of going to get one. But at the same time, all I can encourage you to do, if you do end up getting this game, is keep an open mind and just kind of release yourself to the story. That's the best way you're going to enjoy this type of game, is not necessarily trying to understand it. More than just experience it is the best way to play this game. And if you're not somebody who does that, if you're not somebody who's looking to have that kind of experience, if you're looking for a more traditional point-and-click style game with puzzles and all that kind of, fantastical nature, this is definitely one that is more about thought-provoking, a little bit of horror there, and kind of trying to crawl into your skin and freak you out slowly, but surely, guys. Let's give this man his whiskey, and then we'll wrap up this video, guys. I know it's kind of a slow pace
you
right now,
really
but it's
came
all
through
about
for
the
an old
in-between moments, all the freaky
Talk
stuff that
about
happens,
dramatising.
and it slowly
Can't
builds
be
up.
any older than 35.
What is he
Glad to make the
talking
night
about?
pass by just that little bit easier. That reminds me, I never did find that girl in this carriage.
Girl? What are you talking about? There's no girl on this train.
Oh boy.
But you said,
No. It's not nice to go messing with old Don's head just 'cause he's had a sniff of whiskey. But, I'll let you lie. You've got spirit.
Oh boy.
well, thanks. But that girl, you honestly told me you saw her.
I reckon I didn't. And you know what? It's the craziest damn thing. You're just about the only soul I've seen on this train tonight. It's not normally like that. Even Floyd's usually around. Must be his night off.
Floyd is around. I got the whiskey from him, remember? And what about the sick passenger in the next car?
Not seen anyone around, son. You know what I need on a night like this? A good book. Can't beat a good novel and a drink.
A good book, eh? Have you ever read the works of Louis Cassel?
Can't say I've heard of him.
He's a horror writer. In fact, he lives on Auger Peak Island.
Auger Peak Island? Never heard of it.
Isn't that where we're going? Well, I have one of his novels somewhere.
Again, a little bit of a
Now
wink,
that
a little bit of
will be
nudge,
just
a little
the
hint,
ticket.
a little push. Go
Get it?
get the book, basically, from your room, which is right there. We'll grab the book.
Hope Don likes it as much as I did.
We'll head back out. Don's unconscious. He's snoring away. What's this key here?
Well, why not? The key to 2A. Maybe I'll find this mysterious girl.
Maybe he will. Maybe he'll find a corpse or somebody getting their head chopped off. Or something really, really messed up. Let's go ahead and use key on 2A here. And
I want to have a look inside, but this is somebody's bag.
more bags.
Another large bag. This is starting to get very, very unpleasant.
Yeah, it's gonna get
Shut
more
and
unpleasant,
sealed.
buddy.
Just
Well, guys, like
in
I
my
said,
room.
it's all about the journey. It's about understanding. It's all about interpretation. Why is there a lantern in the middle of a train? It's all very cryptic and strange, guys. And that is the Charnel House Trilogy in a nutshell. It's cryptic, strange, and if you're willing to go on a journey with it and play it and kind of take it as it is, you will enjoy. I enjoyed it. It was just weird and eerie, and it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. But I think that's a good thing, guys, and I think you will enjoy it too, guys. So I want to say big thanks to the developer and publisher for a chance to check out this title. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and share, guys, and I'll keep bringing you awesome indie games, guys. If you really enjoyed this video, maybe consider hitting up that tip jar if you're feeling generous of heart. All tips go to improving the channel or future giveaways, guys. Till next time, guys, play more indie games.